Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 20th of July 2023. Let's start with our session. Which state or the union territory approved a proposal to start Teacher Interface for Excellence program? So Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Mr. Ashok Gehlot has approved a proposal for starting the Teacher Interface for Excellence program, and under this initiative, teachers of government universities, colleges and polytechnic colleges will get training in prestigious institutions of the country and abroad. So a target has been set to train 500 teachers from across the state in this year only, and for this purpose state government will spend 23.5 crore rupees on research and training facilities for the teachers during 2023 to 24. Okay, so Rajasthan has approved this proposal to start Teacher Interface for Excellence program. Next is, India recently launched the trade transaction in rupees with which particular country? So Bangladesh and India launched the trade transaction in rupees, and the aim of this program is to reduce dependence on the US dollar and strengthening the regional currency and trade. So this is the first time that Bangladesh country has done bilateral trade with a foreign country in addition to the US dollar. Fine. So India has launched this trade transaction in rupees along with the country Bangladesh. Next question is, what is the net direct tax collections till July in this financial year? So the net direct tax collections grew 15.8% to now 4.75 lakh crore rupees from 1st of April to 9th of July this year. And this is an indication of economic activity and tax compliance measures, and the data has been released by the Income Tax Department. Okay, so with this, the government has achieved 26.05% of its total budget estimate of 18.23 lakh crore rupees for 2023 to 24. Okay, so the net direct tax collections till July in this financial year is 4.75 lakh crore rupees. Now if we talk about the United Nations data, India lifted how many people out of poverty in the last 15 years? We have discussed this question earlier. So United Nations has said that India has registered a remarkable reduction in poverty with 41.5 crore people coming out of the poverty in just 15 years. Further, United Nations said that 25 countries, including India, successfully halved their global multidimensional poverty index values within 15 years. And these 25 countries include the countries like, for example, Cambodia, China, Congo, Honduras, Indonesia, Morocco, Serbia, then Vietnam, and obviously India as well. Fine. So India has lifted 41.5 crore people out of poverty in the last 15 years. Vilnius, which hosted the NATO Summit, is in which country? So NATO country leaders and delegations gathered in Vilnius for this Alliance Summit, and the NATO Summit is expected to bring together 48 delegations with 2,400 members, including 40 heads of the state. So Lithuania is hosting an event of this scale for the very first time. And talking about Lithuania, it is a country in northeastern Europe. Also, it is the southernmost and the largest of the three Baltic states. Fine. So Vilnius has hosted the NATO Summit and it lies in Lithuania. Don't forget that the 31st country to join NATO is Finland. Okay, and the headquarters of NATO lie in Brussels, Belgium. Full form is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Next question is, Mark Rutte, who has quit politics recently, was the Prime Minister of which country? So Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has announced that he is quitting the politics after nearly 13 years in power. Actually, he was the longest serving leader in the history of the country Netherlands, as he served this position since 2010. Also, he announced his resignation after failing to reach consensus among coalition partners on his government's refugee policy. Okay, so Mark Rutte has quit politics recently and he was the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. Yesterday we have talked about Prayut Chan-o-cha and he was the Prime Minister of the country Thailand. Fine. Now can you tell me, when was the Athletics Federation of India formed? So Athletics Federation of India has been adjudged as the best member federation in Asia by the Asian Athletics Association. That's why it was in news. And Olympian Adile Sumariwala, who's also the AFI president, received the award at the 50th anniversary celebrations of Asian Athletics Association in Bangkok. So it is a national governing body for athletics sport in India and it is responsible for conducting competitions in the country, and this body was formed in the year 1943. Okay. Which country has deposited $2 billion in Pakistan's central bank? So the country Saudi Arabia has deposited $2 billion in Pakistan's central bank, and this was done just a day before the International Monetary Fund's board is expected to give the final nod to the provision of $3 billion in the bailout funds under a standby arrangement. Fine. So Saudi Arabia has deposited this much amount in Pakistan's central bank. Also, which country has delivered the Scalp long-range missiles to the country? Ukraine. So France has already made a delivery of a number of Scalp long-range cruise missiles to the country Ukraine. And talking about Scalp, it is an air-launched British-French missile known to UK forces as the Storm Shadow, and it is the longest range Western weapon in the country Ukraine. Okay, so basically France has delivered this Scalp long-range missile to the country Ukraine. Next is Ash Gardner, who was seen in the news recently, is a cricketer from which country? So she is from Australia and she is an all-rounder. Why she was in news? Because recently once again she has been crowned as ICC Women's Player of the Month award for June 2023. So this is the third monthly award of her career so far, after the ones she won in December in 2022 and also in February in the year 2023. Also don't forget that the Australian team has won the Ashes test match recently. Fine. Can you tell me, the Schedule M, which was seen in the news these days, is associated with which field? So our Union Minister of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Mr. Mansukh Mandavi, has directed regulatory authorities to conduct risk-based inspections and audits of manufacturing plants. Also, he added that Schedule M shall be made compulsory for the MSME pharma sector in a phased manner. So Schedule M, part of Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940, deals with the good manufacturing practices for the pharmaceuticals that should be followed by the pharmaceutical manufacturing units in India. Okay, so you can be asked if Schedule M is associated with which field, so that would be pharmaceutical industry. Who emerged as the female gymnast in the individual all-around competition in the Asian Games selection trials? This is ace Indian gymnast Deepa Karmakar. She secured her place in the Asian Games squad following a 21-month of suspension due to a doping violation. And she managed to gather the maximum points so as to emerge as #1 female gymnast in the individual all-around competition, where in the Asian Games selection trials at the Kalinga Stadium. Fine. So Deepa Karmakar has been emerged as the female gymnast in the individual all-around competition in the Asian Games selection trials. Next is Praveen Kumar and Nishad Kumar, who were seen in the news recently, play which sport? So para-athlete Praveen Kumar became the first para-athlete from the state of Uttar Pradesh to qualify for the 2024 Paris Paralympics after winning a bronze medal in the men's high jump T64 event at the World Para-Athletics Championship in Paris. Okay, so Praveen Kumar's medal was the first for India at this championship, and India's Nishat Kumar has clinched the silver medal in the men's high jump event at the Para-Athletics World Championship. So both of these persons are associated with high jump. Next is, which city hosted the third G20 Sherpas meeting that drafted the leaders' declaration on key issues of global importance? So the third G20 Sherpas meeting that drafted the leaders' declaration on the key issues of global importance concluded in Hampi in the state of Karnataka, and more than 120 delegates from G20 members, invitee countries, and various international and regional organizations came together to jointly draft and co-create the leaders' declaration in this historic city, and also it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? So here correct answer would be Hampi, that lies in the state of Karnataka. Next is, which state or the Union Territory Rural Livelihood Mission bagged the Scotch Award under the theme State of Governance India 2047? So Jammu and Kashmir Rural Livelihood Mission has bagged the Scotch Award under the theme State of Governance India 2047 in gold category, and it was recognized for its outstanding efforts in creating marketing avenues for the self-help groups in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Fine. Also one festival is there in Jammu and Kashmir which is very famous. This is Lavender Festival. Fine. Can you tell me, Goa has hosted recently which meeting of G20? Please write your answer in the comment section. Now apart from it, the James Webb Space Telescope of NASA has recently completed its first year of science on 12th of July. And this space agency has commemorated this anniversary by releasing a new science image in a live stream. So NASA unveiled a brand new web science image on 12th of July showcasing the birth of a star in a particular cloud complex. Fine. Simply you can be asked that James Webb Space Telescope is in news these days, so it is associated with which space agency? So that would be NASA. Okay. Now there are three fact related questions. I am writing it here. The first one is, what percentage of GST is levied on the cancer fighting drugs, medicines for rare diseases, and the food products for special medical purposes? So GST Council has decided to exempt the cancer fighting drugs, medicines for rare diseases, and the food products for special medical purposes from the GST tax. And that's why Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman recently chaired the 50th GST Council meeting in New Delhi, where she also said that the council has decided to exempt the GST from satellite launch services by the private operators. Okay, so you can be asked that what percent of GST is levied on these things: cancer fighting drugs, medicines or for the rare diseases, and food products for special medical purposes. So correct answer would be 0%. This is an important question. The second question is, the GST Council has imposed what percentage of tax on online gaming, horse racing, and casinos? So more than 130 online gaming companies and industry associations have approached the center requesting it to consider the 28% of GST on the full face value for online gaming. And GST Council has imposed a 28% tax on online gaming, horse racing, and casinos. And this effective data for the 28% GST levies on online gaming will be announced after amendments to the GST law. Okay, simply The GST Council has imposed what percentage of tax on online gaming? Answer would be 28%. The third question here is, what is the retail inflation based on CPI, means Consumer Price Index, in June 2023? So retail inflation based on CPI stood at 4.81% in June this year, and as per the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation data, Consumer Food Price Index for the last month rises to 4.49% as compared to 2.91% in the month of May, and it is mainly due to a rise in the vegetable prices. Okay, so for June 2023, what is the retail inflation based on CPI? Answer would be 4.81%. Fine. So these are the most important current affairs and the news from today. And now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions, and at the end of the lecture, do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These are the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, Meenu Hadsana signing off.